Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Here we go with another episode of Exploring Worlds. I'm just on pretty casual local hiking trail here, and I've got another book to talk about. This is a really good one. So, Models, Attract Women Through Honesty by Mark Manson. This is a men's dating advice book. I watch Mark Manson's podcast, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck podcast, as well as I've been following his YouTube videos and that for years. I really enjoy his content. I really enjoy his sense of humor, and think that a lot of his ideas, as well as the way that he frames existing philosophies and that, very insightful and interesting, and very worth watching. So here we go. I'm just going to be hiking around the trails here and doing little talks about some of the takeaways from this book called Models. And I hope you stick around and enjoy. Thank you. So let's start with the first two key takeaways. For one, the title, Attract Women Through Honesty. Now, what I find really insightful about this, and it seems pretty logical and self-explanatory, but it is a reminder that a lot of us need, is basically what it is assuming that you're somewhat responsible and you know somewhat how to conduct yourself in a respectful manner, then basically just, for lack of a better term, blurting out the truth about everything about you to people that you've gotten to know a little bit. You know, those crazy conspiracy theories you have, those insecurities you have, the life situation or setup that might not be what looks great on paper or is what mainstream media is advertising as, you know, the keys to success or the best way to live your life. You know, just talk about all that kind of stuff. Mention it. And, you know, the whole point of that is that it's going to be sad sometimes because people are going to dislike you for it. People are going to reject you for it. And, you know, that is a good thing. It acts as a filter to filter out the people that you are compatible with. In this case particularly, you know, dating, and with women, it filters out the women that are not compatible with you, the ones that are not going to like or respect the journey that you're on, and the ones that will, you know, that you'll find out later if you play a game of lying and, you know, sugarcoating everything about your life. They will eventually reject you later, which will be harder than right here, right now, not long after you've gotten to know them. And the second most important takeaway for me anyway is demographics. And I love the way that he explained this. And I'm not remembering like the exact lifestyle examples that he used particularly, but I definitely remember the concept and think it's probably the most important part of the book, in the sense that it sort of goes hand in hand with confidence in a way. It's like, say you are somebody who's not very active, like doesn't live a very active lifestyle. You're not into the outdoors, you're not into sports, you're not into, you know, endurance sports or anything like that, and outdoor activities, but you know, you're a really good, you're into law or something like that, like you're a lawyer or whatever, and you're constantly reading about, you know, the academics involved with that sort of thing, and you're really good in these meetings at your job and at your firm, and you're really good at leading the people that work with you and in speaking in a way that is, you know, very relevant to that interest that you have. Then in that situation, you're going to have a high advantage. You're going to have a lot of charisma, you're going to have a lot of confidence, and the people that are into that sort of thing, whether it's the people that do the same work as you, or just the people that in general have an interest in that sort of thing, well, you have an upper hand. You have the confidence. You can conduct yourself in a way that is attractive to those people. Yet, if you go to the hiking trails, or you go, to a sports event, you're not going to have a whole lot of confidence. You're choosing the wrong demographic. You're not going to be very attractive to those people. And vice versa. If you're a very active person, you like hiking, you like outdoors, you like doing these crazy sort of adventures, then when you're around other people that share those interests and in situations that caters to that, you're going to be confident and attractive to the other people that are interested in that sort of thing. Wherefore, if you switch roles with the other guy I was talking about, and you try to go talk to people that are very academically involved in law and politics and stuff like that, then you're going to be slurring your words a lot. You're not going to come across very confident. You're not really going to know what you're talking about, and you're not going to have any shared interests or goals with those people, so therefore your confidence is down and you're not very attractive. So it's all about choosing demographics, and this can even be within the same sort of genre of activity too. I mean, let's just say there's two people that are very physically active, but one likes hiking and rock climbing and surfing and swimming and stuff like that. Mostly things that they do solo on their own or with a couple of buddies. It's not the same as like a team sport kind of deal. Well, in that sort of context, they're going to have a lot of confidence. They're going to be attractive because they know that world. That's what they do. They're going to be attractive to the people that are also into that. But that might not also translate to going to a baseball game or a football game or a soccer game. Even though it's still physical activity, it's still sports, it's quite very different, and it's a different kind of culture and people that go to those sorts of places and are involved in those sort of sports. So you're still not going to be as confident. You might fit in a bit better, but you're still not going to be as confident or attractive. And again, vice versa. You're into the soccer, you're into the football, baseball, all that kind of stuff. And you go and you don't really do solo sports or hike that much, swim that much or whatever, and you go talk to a bunch of swimmers or a bunch of hikers or rock climbers or whatever, and you've never really done that sort of thing and would rather be involved in team sports, then again, same thing. You're not going to be as confident, and you're not going to be as attractive to those people. So before I go too long on that point, that's probably the reason I'm talking about it quite a bit, is because that's like the major key takeaway from this book, at least in my opinion anyway. Now, as mentioned in the intro, I love the humor in Mark Manson's writing, and as well as in his podcast and in his videos. He's definitely got a great sense of humor, and he finds a way to make all of the self-improvement / life advice kind of stuff funny, even hilarious a lot of times. And it makes you relate to it more, and he even explains how it's sort of like giving a little bit of sugar with the medicine so that it's easier to swallow. And I think that works heavily. I find some of the references and the stories that are laid out in the book, the humor makes them a lot more relatable and fun to listen to or read. And I think that in a lot of ways, that's what basically makes the book, that's where the lessons come into place, because you find these stories relatable, you find them funny and hilarious, and I bet you almost every guy has found themselves in these certain situations that he describes, and you sort of cringe a little bit, and you're like, oh my goodness, that's sort of embarrassing, or that's, you know, that's a bad memory, but the humor and the relatability in which he describes these things make it funny, and again, make it a lot more relatable. So this is another book that I don't have tons of negatives to say about it. I found that it was just an awesome read altogether, and it's a book that will definitely come in handy. But if I were to pick out a few negatives, again, I got the latest version of the book. I believe I don't know if it's the only one available or if you can get the other versions or whatnot, but it's been redone and re-edited, I think, 2 or 3 times. And I don't know why. I don't necessarily agree with, I mentioned that in The Obstacle is the Way too, I don't necessarily agree with or like the concept of rewriting and re-enhancing a book or in any other form of creativity or art, really. There's something about it that just doesn't seem right to me. I think even if you grow and you learn new things and you could make it a lot better now, and even if your whole entire perspective on something changes, I think it's almost like it's a relic of that time. It's a relic of the past. It's a journal entry in your growth and your mind and how it works. So, like, I don't think I've ever pulled down a video, even if in hindsight I'm like cringing at how bad it was or how much better it could be done, or that I don't share those beliefs or thoughts anymore. I don't think I've ever pulled a video down to re-edit it and redo it in a way that is more current to how I'm thinking now, because, like I say, I view it just as almost like a visual journal entry into my life at that time. The only exception I'll give with this one is I read in there that the first remake was done because I believe it was the first book he ever wrote. I think he did a lot of blogs before this, but it was the first book he ever wrote. And so he was a decent writer, knew relatively what he was doing, but was still learning, and there was some grammar / spelling mistakes, just some mistakes within the proper way of writing. In that, I agree with pulling and redoing. I mean, you don't necessarily want a book that has spelling mistakes and grammatical errors in it, per se. So that one I'll give a pass for. But as far as changing it due to new insights or current changes of mindset and whatnot, I don't really, and it seems like a lot of writers do that. I've came across it a few times. I just don't know how much I fully agree with that or how much it resonates with me, but that's just my opinion. I'm not a writer, well, I mean, I am to some degree. I write a bit, but I'm not like actively pursuing getting a book published per se. Or it's not, at least it's not my main creative goal. It might be one of them, but it's not like my big main creative goal. And I'm not, in any means, I know a decent amount about grammar and writing, but if I were to try to write a whole book, I can almost guarantee you there'd be a lot of mistakes in there too. So I don't really have any, chip on my shoulder about what I'm saying. It's just as far as the creativity, I don't fully agree with re-enhancing a book once it's already been published, unless it's to fix grammar errors. And the other negative is the glossary at the end, which is almost like a dictionary style, dictionary-like definition of each concept covered in the book. I don't think was 100% necessary, and I think it was a little bit too, like, even though the definitions are very short, similar to a dictionary, I think there was too many pages of it. It went a little bit too long. It wasn't really needed. I think just a regular closing out of the story and what's been covered and what he hopes you achieve from reading it would be a lot better than that. But whatever, I still read it to the very last page, and I guess it's there for a reason. I guess it's, you could look through that, remind yourself what the definitions are, and then if you need to reread any parts of it, you can flip back to that chapter, sorry, and that paragraph, and take it from there. So I guess it does serve a purpose. I just don't think it was as necessary as he or someone thought it should be. But that's about that. So anyway, I think this will probably be a relatively long video. I hope at least some of you have watched to the end, because I do want to really promote this book as best I can, because I really enjoyed it and really think it'll be handy for men to read, at least if they feel they need to or are interested in that sort of thing anyway. But definitely give the book a read. Give some of his other books a read as well, and watch the podcast. Look him up on YouTube. I think you'll enjoy his videos and his content. I know I do. And thank you very much for watching this video. And the next time I finish a book, I'm bound to incorporate the review or the takeaways from that into another Exploring Worlds episode. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Please come back for more. And I hope you have a great day. And I hope you have luck in your dating journey.